Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hi, I'm John, and welcome to The Business of Being a Postgrad, the podcast where we share real stories, experiences, and insights from postgraduate students here at Durham University Business School. Each episode features a current postgraduate student sharing their journey, experiences, and insights during their time here at Durham. In this episode, I'm joined by Manisha, an MSc Behavioural Economics student from India. Manisha discusses her decision to leave a career in finance, her curiosity for human behaviour, and how she's embraced life at Ustinov College. Let's start by talking about life. We'll explore your story so far, what brought you to Durham, and why it was the right time to invest in your future. Hi Manisha, thank you for joining us today on The Business of Being a Postgrad. If you could just introduce yourself, tell everybody what you're studying and where you come from.
Hi, I'm from India and I'm studying Masters in Behavioural Economics.
So Behavioural Economics is quite an interesting, unique program. What made you decide to do a Masters?
After my graduation, I did my MBA in finance and I worked as a financial planning analyst for 10 years. And my work was to do forecasting and budgeting. And my last stint was with PepsiCo. And there I was trying to understand what's driving volume, revenue, and profit. But what made me to think often that what are those numbers saying? Why somebody is buying one product over the other? Why some promotion is working? Why some is not working? So I used to ask these questions, which I was not supposed to in my role, but I used to still ask my finance director and manager. And that's when I realized that I have this knack to understand psychology and consumer behavior. And that was the starting point where I started exploring if I have any course which sounds familiar to behavior or consumer. And then I came across this behavioral economics course. And then it developed into further areas as well, social areas. What can I do to create more awareness regarding environment? Because people normally leave it to, okay, it should come from within, but is there any strategy or a way to nudge people towards saving electricity, reducing the use of carbon? These are the various ways in which behavioral economics can be applied.
Obviously, you said they've had quite a lot of experience in the professional world. At what point did you decide now is the time to do the Masters?
When I saw that my work was becoming a bit repetitive, I saw there's a lot of involvement of technology already. Python, programming, everyone is using that. I realized that instead of spending a lot of time on Excel worksheets on preparing those large sheets, I had very handful of time to work on the analysis part. So I thought instead of this, if I can learn technology and some skills, then I can save my time on preparing the reports and give more time on analysis part, which is required when you want to dissect the numbers. So that's when I decided that.
How did everybody back home, your company or your friends and family, take it when you told them, I'm moving to the UK and I'm going to do my Masters?
So at my workplace, people were very surprised because I was doing finance and they were like, economics? You're totally changing your field. And they were very curious about behavioral economics because they didn't know that there's something like this that exists. And I had to tell them that, this is what it is. And they were very proud that after so many years I'm going there. I'm coming here. I took this big decision. And my parents, I had to convince them a bit. My brother's already in US. So they were like, my second child, she's not going. She should not be leaving India. But then, they always encourage education over anything else. So finally, they also gave it.
Looking back, we're quite the way through the year now. Can you remember what that first experience was like arriving in the UK and how what was that transition like from moving from India to the UK?
It was challenging. I had a lot of self-doubts if I'll be able to pull it through. Did I make the right decision? I left my job and I've used all my savings into this course. So I was skeptical, but today, after 9 months, I can say this is one of the best decisions of my life.
Well, that's really good to hear. But yes, it makes sense to be cautious. You know, you are investing a lot in this, so you want to be sure that it's definitely going to give you what you want. What would you say has been the biggest adjustment in terms of going from working professionally and not being in academia for many years, jumping right back into that?
There are two things. One is a total change in the way how education is imparted here in UK. I was not totally aware of it or acquainted with it. And
you mean like the teaching styles?
Teaching style, yes. And two, to get that focus and dedication, that discipline, which any academy, the course demands from you. So these were the two things that I had to learn and unlearn and learn again.
Have you been able to enjoy any outside the classroom, any experiences, any social experiences, maybe through your college since you've arrived?
Yeah, I like to volunteer, and I have volunteered with the St. John's Church with an elderly group. It was a very good experience again. And then I got a chance to volunteer at the Ustinov College, which I'm part of. So,
what was the Ustinov Day experience like? I know that's recently happened, right? So it's a nice way to end the year and end the term after a busy year.
Yeah, I went there with an intention because I wanted to learn the culture here, and I realized that I cannot understand the culture if I'm not with the people. And when I went to that event, I saw people from all the places, the community, the local community, and the organizers, everyone. And they were all like very young to me, and working with them, learning from them, that energy, that it was such a great experience after so many years. So yeah, I loved it.
Did you always plan to live in the college?
Yeah.
Is that different to your experience from your MBA in India?
So I was a day scholar. I never stayed in a hostel. So I learned to be independent in the true sense, because all the while I thought that I'm earning and I'm financially independent. That's it. You're independent. But no, that's not. When you're here in Ustinov, that's a self-catered college. You have to manage your time. You have to cook. You have to do your grocery shopping. You have to engage with people around, then manage your studies. So time management is what I learned while I was here, which is, I think, the essence of any role that you're playing in your life.
Next up, let's talk about learning. The classes, experiences, and opportunities that have helped shape your time here at Durham. So as we've already alluded to, the Behavioural Economics Master's Programme is quite a unique programme. How has that experience been so far?
This was new, and I'm a very curious individual. I love answering questions. And one of my module was Behavioural and Neurofinance. I came with a very open mind. I thought, okay, yeah, it's a optional module and I'll just pull it through. It must be easy. But when I went through that module, I realized the module talks about how irrational human behavior is. Economics teaches you that humans are rational, they make the perfect decisions, and they make the right choices that maximizes their benefits. But behavior brings in the human angle to it, that we are not perfect, we're not robots. We are driven by emotions and psychology underneath. So when I did my MBA in India, I thought that everyone who's working in the finance world are all like super duper smart and intelligent people working there in investment banks. And I believe everyone has that impression. But after this module, I realized that if that is the case, then we would not have had the crisis that we had in the financial world. And if they are also super duper supercomputers, then we would be making all the right decisions every time. But that's not the case. That made me think that, yes, I can also work in the finance world, even if I'm not perfect. I do take time to take decisions, and it is driven by many factors because I'm human. I can't calculate fast. We are dependent on AI for that reason, right? So that's where I realized, this whole 10 years I was carrying some other thought, and I had this shift in my thinking when I joined this course. It was an eye-opener for me. And today, I had never thought that I'll be going back to finance world in that stock market and all, but I am planning to do that. I feel I can step into that world with all my strengths and weaknesses combined.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an MBA, so understanding the fundamentals of business, essentially. And then, there's understanding of human behavior, which is so important. How would you describe the program structure for somebody that was thinking about studying it?
The program is divided across many ways in which behavioral economics can be taught. One is the basic behavioral economics, which talks about biases, nudges, and talks about different ways in which some Nobel Prize winners, how did they come up with this idea of behavioral economics? How did it start? So Kahneman and Thaler, they are the known people from behavioral economics. So what experiments they conducted, what questions they posed. So that's the basic. Then you have the experimental economics, which teaches you that you can experiment human behavior in the closed room of a lab. And you can, how do you do that? It's more about conducting experiments and understanding human behavior out of it. Then you have behavioral and neurofinance, which is behavioral finance. So someone who's interested in stock market and wants to understand what's driving it, very relevant given what happened recently, the war, which we were all anticipating, and how the stock market was going up and down. So my dissertation is also somewhat related to that. Whatever drove that prices, was it just driven by fundamentals, or was there human behavior that was driving it? Okay, war is happening, so let's go and sell the stock, or let's buy it. So it can be out of fear as well, not with very rational thinking.
And yeah, I mean, within such an ever-changing environment in the world as well, and things happening, I imagine that you've got to prepare so much.
Yes.
But it's difficult to prepare for that as well. Yeah. I imagine also there's probably lots of discussions in class with your academics and your cohort as well around all these topics.
So we would discuss about how relevant is this course and how are we going to take it forward in our careers. And that's how we would exchange our ideas. Like, I would say that, what, I'm thinking of doing it in behavioral economics. Someone is saying that I want to, we have game theory also in experimental economics, which is relevant for both micro and macroeconomics. So someone is planning to use game theory and behavior, because behavior and strategy, they go hand in hand. So that's how we used to discuss. We also discuss about our dissertation topics, and that's when we would, like I told about, I love to read about environment, and so I want to work in the ESG side.
Have you noticed a change in yourself and your cohort, your peers, maybe across the terms? We've moved through term 1 and term 2, and now we've closed term 3.
It has changed a lot. Initially, I was holding myself back because of that non-familiarity with culture and the background that we are coming from. But eventually it progressed as when I talk to my peers, I find them they're very passionate about what they're doing. They just don't do it because it's giving them a job. No. So I used to go to them and ask them, could you help me with understanding this particular research paper? Because in India, you don't have this way of teaching through research paper. How do I read it? It's 30 page, 40 page. It's taking the whole day, but I'm not finishing it. And they've been so cooperative. One girl, she sat with me and told me how she used to do it in her undergrad and gave me those tips. And I've seen that difference in the last 2 months, how much I have improved. I thanked her once my summatives were done and everything. I thanked her back. And these young people have always been the source of inspiration to me, because they bring in their passion, and I realize that if I have to make it big, I have to bring my own passion, because the degree is the same, the professors are the same, the knowledge, maybe it's the same, but your passion is what separates you.
To talk more about connecting theory to kind of real behaviour, how has the programme helped you connect those ideas? Have you had many guest speakers or any case studies or projects or anything that's kind of helped bring any of those things to life?
So throughout the curriculum, it's based on teaching you with research papers and what were the results and outcomes of that. I have the habit of relating it to real world examples. We had this thing to opt the modules for term 2, and everybody was discussing, which one to take, which one not to take. That's where I saw one herding behavior. Herding is like when you're following others. Yes. So am I going to take this module because everyone is taking this, or am I going to take it because I want to do it? So how are people taking their decisions? And this I could see, and earlier I was not able to relate that why we are doing this. But today I can say we are doing this because inherently we are humans, and on our own, we can't take all the decisions. We are dependent on everyone else. So, yeah.
And you mentioned earlier as well about moving potentially back into the finance sector after you graduate. What do you think are some of the biggest skills you'll take from the program to help you?
Thinking.
Taking it all in and being able to process.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned the dissertation. So you're working on that at the moment, and that'll take you through to the end of the summer. Are you staying in Durham for the summer?
Yes.
Yeah. So how's the dissertation experience going so far? Is it different to what you've experienced in the past?
I've never done dissertation before. So I was very scared and skeptical about it. Will I be able to pull it? But thanks to the professors we have, I changed my topic the last minute. And I was not expecting that they would accommodate my request, but they did it. Thank you so much. Because that's from where I got my the next thing, what I want to do. Then as I said, I got into the habit of reading papers, which I had never done before. And all my modules were such that you have to read papers because they were all summatives, not in-person exams. So this is helping me in building the literature review. The supervisors are also he's very cooperative. He listens to my doubts and queries. He gives guidance. Then accommodative also, like when you're saying that, you know what, I'm facing this challenge that I can't do all of it, whatever I told the first time. And he's like, yeah, just go ahead, whatever you want to do. Yesterday I met him and he told me a very good thing, that don't go like the breadth of it, go into the depth of it. So just focus on one thing and keep digging down, do a good analysis. Even if you are not doing a lot, whatever you're doing, just do it properly.
Well, that sounds like some good advice. Finally, let's talk about lessons. Looking back on your journey, what you've learned and what you'll take forward. And of course, the advice you'd share with others. So now if we can look back on your time at Durham so far, what would you say has been one of the most surprising experiences? Could be socially or academically.
Socially, I would say there's so many things. I'm an observer, and so it all started from day one, from Ustinov to when I would walk down to city center. I walked down from that forest, that green cover on both the side, and it's a clay path. So I never thought that I would experience this. I felt I was in a different world, like inside the Chronicles of Narnia. And then when I would go walk back, I would listen to the waves of River Weir. It would be so soothing. Then the bells at the cathedral. Then any random artist was playing a guitar or the bagpiper on the bridge. Then I saw one day a random artist was sketching the cathedral or the castle. On these sunny days when the entire town is at the city center and is with family, that excited me a lot, makes me so much happy that I'm here.
Was it your first time visiting the UK?
Yes, it's the first time I'm here. Even if on the outside might look the culture is so different, but the culture is very inclusive and welcoming and similar at many levels. The warm smile that people give you when you're passing by, so many things. The freshly baked cookies and that aroma, the coffee aroma, you can't miss these things. And when you're on the top of the observatory hill and you see the entire town.
That's a very nice view. Definitely,
it's giving
everybody
me
has to go up there once if you're a student.
So these are things that I have experienced over the last 8-9 months, and when I go back to India, would be the most cherished memories of my life.
Speaking of Narnia, I think your example there is quite correct. I think C.S. Lewis, actually, who wrote the Chronicles of Narnia, was a teacher at Durham many, many years ago. Okay. Maybe where he got his inspiration from. So you just mentioned going back to India. Is that something you're planning to do, or are you planning to make the most of the postgraduate work visa and stay in the UK and get some experience here?
Yes, of course, getting some experience here. It's always good to know a country's work culture, and that makes you more flexible, and you can go back and whatever learnings you have here, you can take back to your country and use it there. The best practices. So, yeah. Are
you looking forward to getting back into business? Obviously, you've had a year off from working professionally. Are you ready? Are you feeling ready to jump back in?
Yeah.
In terms of advice for somebody arriving from India or anywhere really internationally, in Durham later this year to start their journey on their masters. What advice would you have for them to kind of prepare or settle into life once they arrive?
So come prepared with the weather at Durham, because it can be really cold. I didn't know about it. I got the taste of it during the late October and November, and I was doing all the shopping in Amazon, whatever I could find. So that's the only surprise I would say, which can just put you in a spot where you're struggling with the weather,
especially when you're arriving, because when the day that you arrive, obviously it is the autumn, so coming from a hot country into a colder country, make sure you do have a coat with you in your carry-on luggage or your backpack.
But be prepared to witness the awesome autumn, the leaves falling and all of that.
And changing colours.
That happens only in the north part of India, not everywhere.
Okay.
So it's beautiful.
And then moving across, how was your experience over the Christmas period and then the New Year? Did you stay or did you go home?
I was here, and my entire flat, everyone had moved somewhere or the other, and I was watching those Christmas movies on Netflix, and we had Christmas dinner at Ustinov, so I went there and we had the English dinner, and
a traditional Christmas dinner. Yeah. Did you see any snow?
Oh my God! How can I miss?
I was thinking, if you came from the east of India, you might not have seen snow before.
Good that you brought in, because that was the best experience. I remember I became a child. I was jumping in my room. I took my parents on a video call and I showed them this is how it is, all snow covered roads and everything. It's
if someone has experience now, I can imagine it's very magical when you first do. What about a student preparing to join the economics program? Any advice you have for them to hit the ground running once they arrive?
I can say from my perspective, I'm not from economics background. I had just 2 subjects of economics in my MBA. I came with an open mind. But it's good if you have some background about economics. If you're reading the newspaper regularly, you're aware of, at least about your own country, what's happening there. That, of course, helps you, because it's a master's rigorous program and it expects you to have some basic concepts with you. But otherwise, you can still build upon your knowledge and everything if you are consistent and disciplined. Then you have your professors, and the best library in the world.
Bill Bryson. Yeah, is that your favorite study spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Bryson is a nice facility. Looking ahead to graduation, will your family be coming over?
Maybe.
Yeah. You maybe get some snow again in January, maybe.
Yeah.
For graduation, which would be nice. What do you think you'll miss the most about Durham?
Everything that I told before. This kind of green and clean atmosphere. Where do you find that? No.
Have you made some good friendships and some networks?
Yeah. And the best part is you meet people from so many different countries, from China, Mexico, and the local...
And not just students from the business school as well. At Ustinov, I imagine you've met people from different disciplines or different faculties across the university.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience today. It's been really, really good to hear about your time on the programme. We've been asking all our guests this season to just try and sum up their experience, if they can, in one word. If possible, it'd be great to hear your Durham experience in one word.
Just one word?
Just one word.
Come to Durham. Build your passion. You discover your passion. Come to Durham.
I think we'll go with passion. Thank you so much for joining us, Manisha. Yeah, all the best with your next steps.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.